What's good, y'all? Alright, so 5-0, 4 knockouts. Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting 12 wins, 6 knockouts, and 1 loss, Hasim Rahman Jr. But apparently, this fight has been reportedly canceled a week before the matchup. Reportedly, Hasim Rahman Jr. is no longer fighting Jake Paul after he refused to comply with the 200-pound limit. You know, this news is actually crazy. You know, I saw this news on Discord before. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I saw this on Discord thing. I'm like, oh, is this fake or something? There's no way they're gonna cancel this fight a week before the fight. But you know, apparently this actually did happen. Now, a lot of things may have happened when it came to this situation. You know, Rahman Jr. was really having a hard time draining himself to 200 pounds. I assume his body couldn't handle it because of how naturally big he is. But, you know, despite this, you sign the contract and you comply to these rules. You have to comply to what is being said if you're going to sign up the deal and sign up the offer if you're willing to fight this opponent. I'm sure you probably would be drained very badly, but remember, you can rehydrate to any way that you want after you get the victory. And, you know, Jake Paul, you know, yet again, my opponent is pulled out of the fight with that stuff. He's going to use this as a valid excuse. Like, oh, yeah, look, I tried to fight an actual fighter, but they pulled out against me and stuff. It's just all of these multiple tactics just to get him some more credibility. Because he tried to fight an actual fighter, but unfortunately, they didn't comply to his rules. So now he has the ability to talk. And that's not good, man. That's not good. But according to this article, what is also being stated was Jake Paul was recently hospitalized. He was recently hospitalized for carrying all of the promotion efforts of his scheduled bout against Hasim Rahman Jr. But as it turns out, all of that is going nowhere now. Paul's most valuable promotion released a statement on Saturday announcing that the August 6th fight between the two aforementioned has been canceled. The reason? Jr.'s weight issues and agreed upon limit of 200 pounds. Now, I guarantee Rahman Jr. is willing to put all that weight stuff aside and is willing to probably fight Jake Paul at even above 200 pounds. He'd probably be like, oh, you can take my whole purse. You can take my whole purse, man. Show them what you did to me in the sparring session. I guarantee it. You know? But even still, you still agreed on the weight, so I don't really see too much of an issue with Jake Paul and their promotion canceling the fight if you're not going to willingly make 200 pounds. You guys agreed on a deadline weight, and end of story. I'm sure. I mean, he's reacted already to the situation, so, like, yeah. He was weighing 216 pounds on July 7th, and he was apparently on track. Wait, matter of fact, I'll just read the whole thing, right? So, on July 5, Hasim Rahman Jr. signed a bout agreement to fight Jake Paul on August 6th at Madison Square Garden at a maximum weight of 200 pounds. The statement begins, at the time of signing, Rahman provided evidence of his weight to give comfort to most valuable promotions and the New York State Athletic Commission that he would not be losing more than 10% of his weight over 4 weeks leading up to this fight. Since weighing at 216 pounds on July 7th, Hasim Rahman Jr. and his camp have offered assurance after publicly and actively that he was on track to make weight at the weigh-in on August 5th, going as far as to provide a letter signed by a recognized nutritionist at his weight cut was progressing without issue per New York State Athletic Commission's required weekly weight checks. In the last 48 hours, it had become clear that these assurances were not made in good faith. By the end of the week, Paul's team revealed that Rahman Jr. barely lost weight to fulfill his end of the deal. Like, that's not very good, bro. So what? And what was also being said too was, upon receiving this new contract Saturday morning, Rockman's camp. Wait, actually, no, I'm not gonna read that part. I'm gonna read the top. This sounds pretty ridiculous, actually. It sounds pretty damn ridiculous, to be honest. Oh my gosh. On Friday, Rockman submitted a weight check to the New York State Athletic Commission that demonstrated that he had lost less than 1 pound since initially signing to take the fight 24 days prior. This prompted the commission to declare that it would not be a sanctioned fight at less than 205 pounds. Still, Jake Paul was prepared to move forward with the fight at this new weight, and a new contract was sent to Rockman's promoter reflecting a 205-pound limit, imposing strict penalties that should he fail to make weight. Upon receiving this new contract Saturday morning, Rockman's camp indicated for the very first time they had planned to weigh 215 pounds, the official weigh-in, and would not have to agree to weigh in at 205, informing most promotions that they are pulling out of the fight unless the fight was agreed 215 pounds. It's because of this development that MVP decided to just scrap the entire event altogether. Well, oh man, your face was going to be on an entire arena. Your face was going to do this. Your face was going to do that. You canceled an entire event over this nonsense. This is the problem. This is literally the problem. Literally the problem, man. Literally the problem. And it's disappointing that this happened. He hasn't seen action since December of 2021 either, and Jake Paul. But even still, like Rockman should have really negotiated another type of weight or something if he was going to really sign this contract. He was made for a 200-pound clause signing contract, and then a 205 one for its advantage, but he just could not make weight whatsoever. He couldn't, there was at one point in his career, in his boxing career, where he weighed like 211 pounds, but that was like 3 years ago. He seems to like go up and down in weight depending on the circumstance. I wonder how he'd look at 200 pounds. He might look really sloppy, maybe because he's so much naturally bigger than Jake Paul. I wouldn't say not by like a massive difference, but it's pretty substantial. So this fight, if this fight is unfortunately canceled, that's absolutely terrible. I feel bad for the people who bought pay-per-view already and tickets, but luckily they can refund all of them. If they didn't, somebody would get sued. So, I feel like that's like a necessity. And from my perspective, when it comes to this situation, Hasim Rahman, if you're not going to apply by the rules and you're going to get frustrated about it, whether if you would willingly take like a pay cut, you still signed you should have complied to those rules in the first place if you're really going to do that. So I don't see why he's wrong. I don't see why he's wrong in this situation necessarily. I feel like even if I would say Jake Paul could still take the fight, Jake Paul could still take the fight because, Jake Paul, as he said himself, beat you in a sparring session. He just wants to have a 50-50 fight, even if you do retreat. But I'm sure that was an entire over-exaggeration because even at another point, he said that, you gave him some work in sparring. So I would, really, this is all of a mess. Hasim Rahman tried to scheme on Jake Paul coming in like 15 pounds over the weight limit or 10 pounds over the weight limit. And that was his initial plan and idea, but that's not a good idea. Number one, you're paying with, number one, people are going to really ridicule you for that too. Number two, that's not good for Jake Paul, so that's why the fight was canceled. Tell me your guys' opinions about the situation. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Also, hit the notification bell, of course. All right, bye, guys.